Now we see Kenpachi entering the lowest level of the prison to fight the first Kenpachi, Unohana. Kenpachi states that when we fight, it's going to be hell, and Unohana responded, "I like you better when you were quiet." She then continues and says that every time she hears his voice, it reminds her of the scar he gave her a long time ago. They both launch at each other in rage. However, before the fight, we see Unohana's backstory of the original Core Guard Squad, captain of the 11th Division. Right before she became captain, she was the most fearsome criminal in Soul Society, and she gave herself the name Yachiru, meaning 8,000 styles. The head captain knew when Unohana fight Kenpachi that she would die. I know he didn't actually say Unohana, but his actions did. The bloodbath continued between the two most feared opponents, testing each other's skills. She charged at him when he let his guard down and knocked his sword out of his hands. Her blade was pointed directly at his neck. Kenpachi stated that when he fought her the first time in battle, it was the first time that he felt fear, and it was the first time that he enjoyed the battle. Unohana then reveals that Kenpachi's #1 flaw is that he gets stronger on the verge of death, but that's also her sin as well. Unohana is having a flashback of her first encounter with Zaraki Kenpachi, standing in the ring contemplating about her next victim. Her lieutenant runs to her and says, "There is no one that will be a formidable opponent to satisfy what you want." He turns around and looks at the pile of bodies behind her and continues, "The size of the pile of bodies is the size of your dissatisfaction," he says. She then turns around immediately and sees Kenpachi climbing over the bodies to fight anyone that stands in his way. Unohana reveals that she became bored throughout her life, searching for someone that would be worthy of her blade. And when she crossed paths with Kenpachi, she experienced unparalleled joy. Currently, the battle between Kenpachi and Unohana is going back and forth, testing each other's skills to the max. Unohana reveals that Kenpachi is holding back his true strength unconsciously. She also talks about how Kenpachi barely won his battle against Ichigo Kurosaki. He also barely won his battle against the 5th Espada fighting in Hueco Mundo. This was actually intentional because of his joy of fighting on the brink of death. Unohana was the first person who rivaled his power in combat, but she was still weaker than him. Kenpachi saw how weak she was and felt extremely bad, so he began to suppress his powers while fighting. Unohana realized that if she could make Zaraki Kenpachi flirt with death once again, she can resurrect his true strength in their final battle. So she continues relentlessly slashing Kenpachi to death, blow after blow and slash after slash. Kenpachi retaliated and sliced her chest open. However, Unohana quickly started to use her Kaido to repair her wounds. Unohana started to get serious and use her unique Bunkai, Minazuki. She covers her blade with blood, and her atmosphere was a mixture of darkness and scarlet red. Kenpachi screams in excitement and charged at Unohana. The energy exchange was absolutely amazing watching these two fight to the end. I really enjoyed the visuals that the director is displaying in these moments. As the fight continues, there was something that really stood out to me at this very particular moment. Kenpachi and Unohana's flesh has been ripped off their face, but in another scene their skin is completely together. I believe what the director was conveying in this very moment was not just a physical battle, but an emotionless, psychological battle to the death. In this scene, they were the epitome of Grim Reapers, as Grim Reaper's face is a skull, and Shinigami means personification of death. Zaraki Kenpachi finally wakes up from his mental fog of emptiness and had an epiphany that this is what true battle is all about, fighting on the edge of life. Kenpachi launched his sword through her body as she slowly fades away. Suddenly, a voice appeared out of the darkness saying that Kenpachi can finally hear its voice that has been watching him through the dawn of time. The voice responds to Kenpachi's actions and says, "Nice to meet you, Kenpachi. My name is..." And then the screen fades to black. Bro, that was definitely a cliffhanger because I really wanted to know who the heck was the voice that been lurking around Kenpachi since his youth. Interesting.